Hi, if you were at AI camp the other day in New York, sorry I wasn't there. I had water pouring through my ceiling. Fortunately, that's resolved. I didn't want to deprive you of this the best I could, so I'm going to record this, and it has links to everything you need. And if anyone needs hands-on help, we could do a hands-on session online, or maybe if you come to the meetup early, the next one on the 23rd in Manhattan, I could lead you through it. It is pretty straightforward. This is RAG 101. So if you want to get these slides, we got them at the bit.ly short code there, or scan that, or I'm probably posting it right underneath this video. Like and subscribe. Smash that like button. Don't smash it too hard. These keyboards are not as good as they used to be. I'm Tim Spann, Principal Dev Advocate for Zillas here on the East Coast, usually in New York, New Jersey, Philly. If you got a meetup or an event all the way up the East Seaboard, probably up to the Mississippi, then hand off to my West Coast colleagues. There's a debate where that divide is, so I'm probably the one doing St. Louis and Chicago, but we'll see. Let me know if you have something in DC, Boston you want me at. I'll be there talking about AI, vector databases, data, streaming, IoT, weird use cases, data stuff. Let me know. So this is as basic as we can get without using an app that does it all, which there are a couple of those pretty cool. If you've got 3 documents, probably go with that. But if you want to learn for future use, especially if you're going to work in an enterprise, that's when I teach you how to do it and do it properly, as simple as possible. And all these things could be expanded out really easily. So first, tell you a little bit about Zillas, Milvus, and vector databases. We'll do the level 100 basic RAG, and then links to everything you need. And we'll in the middle of the demo. This one is cool. My colleague in California, Stefan, had found this. It is really helpful. Perplexity is a search engine and probably a vector database, we suspect. You type in questions, it's really good at the results. And how does a vector database work? You can see there's the link to the Zillas explanation there, and tells you about embeddings and indexing, which we have a lot of different indexing algorithms, querying, that sort of thing. Vector databases, we've been doing it for a while, and we've got Forrester Wave to say, yes, you have, and you've been doing it good. So think about it. The right place to do it. The Milvus project has just surpassed 30,000 stars, which is awesome. If you haven't started yet, Star Fork, it's a great project. You can go right there and start working. A lot of people are using it because it's easy to get started, and we'll show you that. Reusable, so you can deploy this to production. Integrates with all the fun stuff you like. Lots of features. We're going to keep it minimal today because lots of feature means lots of buttons and knobs, and you're like, how do I get started? We're going to do that. Today we're using the simplest, most basic parts I could find. Langchain, connect all this together. Hugging Face, free place to download models. We'll do it automatically. Milvus, free, runs right in the notebook for what we're doing. And a cat. No cat today. To do models, we're going to use Ollama, running a llama model on your Mac, PC, or Unix box, Linux box. Maybe something else. You got some exotic stuff, hopefully. Ollama's pretty good, and it runs for free on your laptop. Now, if you wanted to use OpenAI or someone else, that's fine. But we made it really easy today, so you don't have to install extra stuff, don't have to get an API or keys or sign up or put a credit card anywhere. All free, all open source, all open models. Easy to do. We're going to do Milvus Lite, which don't have to install or run anything. Right sploot, he says yes. So we're going to use RAG, which does a vector search, which you ask for something or give it an image or give it an image in text, and it gets you a result back of what's closest to what you want. Now, the difference between a vector database and a relational database is with a vector search, almost always I'm getting the closest answer. I want nearest neighbor close, very close sometimes, but exact isn't something we do all the time. It just doesn't really work with the technology. There is flat index, which is a brutally depth search. It is not super fast. If you have a couple of records, then it's fine. But usually we don't use that, so we don't get an exact match. We get really close. And you could get that super close by doing filters, which add additional fields and metadata and other stuff. You don't have to worry about that. So we store a bunch of stuff. Gets turned into vectors by models. You don't have to worry about that. We use defaults. Store it in the vector database. Then you type your query somewhere. We turn it into a vector. We find the nearest stuff. We give you the results. That's pretty much it. What about RAG? Buzzword everyone's talking about. It's fun. It's there. We're going to do it. Retrieval, augmented generation. Big word just means we're going to make those large language models work with our data by injecting it from the vector database. We'll do Milvus today. So we get the data, whatever it is, PDFs, Medium, whatever kind of documents you have, or images. But we'll, for today, a couple PDFs, get the stuff out of them, put them into manageable chunks of data, get them embedded as a vector, store it, and then we're going to be somewhere, we're going to query it. It's going to turn that query into vectors. We see how close stuff is. We give the closest stuff of the size that makes sense for your language model. Some don't want super big context, you know. They keep increasing the size of these context windows. So at some point, I'm going to be able to send half my database to them. But for now, we got to keep it small, especially running locally. But you don't have to worry about that. We send this to the LLM, gives you a response. Less hallucination. Don't have to do any additional costs. Easy peasy, runs in a notebook. And pretty similar to this, again, you got your choice of large language models you can call. We're going to call an open free one locally. And put in our special knowledge, which is nice, is I'm not giving that away to someone. I'm not storing that insecurely. So if this is private information, no worries. We're running all locally. We could turn off our internet if we needed to. Again, the economics of owning your own data sovereignty is huge. I don't want to give away my private data. Let's build the simplest we can do. Now, for those at home to follow along, the documents I'm using, you could use your own, but these just happen to be mine that I have public. These are some of my talks. I put them publicly online. You could download them, QR code, type this in. You get them. Then you can get the notebook, so you don't even have to type this stuff. You do need to install stuff, but the notebook tells you what to install. Again, click here, get the notebook. We'll have links to it elsewhere. But just to give you the thing, we're not going to show you the rest of the slides. That's for you when you're trying this yourself and you're getting stuck. Like, what should this look like? We'll go there. Maybe we'll go through those real quick. So this is my notebook running on a Mac. So you need to install a couple things. Now, it'd be nice if everything was there. Certainly you could use maybe Google Colab, an online notebook, you know, something running a VM or Docker, lots of other options. But here we do need a couple things installed. You're going to need Python, not the latest, but something like 3.10. You need Ollama, you need Jupyter. You need to download the Llama 3.2 model. got to install Milvus Lite and install LangChain. We got links to some stuff to help you, but we'll show you what you need to do here. These are all the libraries we're going to need. So once you have those installed, you open this notebook up and you can run all of those. Now, again, we have links to how to download Ollama. Ollama's awesome. There are other local model runners, and if you already have one installed or one you like, use that, or use OpenAI, or use Azure or Google or Mistral. There's a ton of them out there, and they're all awesome, but this is local and free. And then we're going to download this particular model. There's others. They're great. There's a lot of options, but we'll keep it simple. 3.2, pretty new, works pretty well for RAG. I've got a couple installed. When you're done installing the model, you could test it interactively there. It's going to take a little while, a couple gigs of download. Sorry. And then I could do a list. These are the ones I have installed for other purposes. You can see the size. They're not tiny. Depends what you want to work with, how big those are. So once you have Python, Jupyter, and Ollama, reboot, probably, then you could start running this. This will install all your goodies. And it is a lot of goodies, but they're useful. This one's for Hugging Face. That's for LangChain. LangChain connector. That's for talking to our buddies Ollama. It's for working for PDFs. This is fun stuff with Milvus. So these are our imports. These are things from Python libraries we installed. And this is where I put the PDFs. If you want them somewhere different or you need some other kind of structure, mention that here. This just also initialize stuff. There you go. Now we're going to grab those PDFs, and I have them linked here. You could use the ones I have listed here. Those work, or you can grab them from my SlideShare or my GitHub, or use your own. That makes it a more fun exercise. But if you want to be safe, just go here and run this one. It'll make a directory. Grab all these PDFs. They're not huge, but it's going to take a couple minutes. And then here, we iterate through all the PDFs. Print out the name. There's some minor bugs because I've got some weird stuff in my PDF. It's me with probably emojis and stuff. But those load. It's just warnings. So we have them into our documents ready to go. We're going to connect to Milvus. This is Jupyter Notebook. So if you haven't used one before, what's kind of cool is you could have embedded documentation and hints and other stuff in here. And it's in Markdown, which if you haven't learned Markdown before, I highly recommend it. It is used in GitHub. It's used here. It is a nice language for building up formatted text. So we're going to connect to Milvus. We're going to connect to Milvus that's just local. It's going to sit in this little file. And this file is connected to this notebook. This is single user. There's no services running. There's no Kafka running, no etcd, no Minio, nothing else. Just this file. And if someone else is trying to read it, not going to work. So just run this one. And it create the collection the first time. Tells you if it's there already. Then we're going to grab some models. Now, fortunately for our embeddings, Hugging Face will grab it for us. And you could use the free one. Gina AI has one available. This does not require an API for basic stuff. May require API key if you chunk too much. So we're going to split up that data. Get it all split up nice. Now, if you want to reload this every time, you can turn this flag here to true. It'll get rid of all your stuff. If you want a clean environment, that probably makes sense. But if you've already done that, don't do it. You already did it. You loaded all that stuff. Why run it again? Again, unless you're changing the PDFs or testing something or something broke along the way. Don't need to blow this collection away each time. Makes it pretty nice. So in here, we set a couple of things here. If you have a GPU, put GPU. That's awesome. I don't. So we're running with just the CPU, which is fast enough. This tells me I can download something like this embedding model because it's sitting on a remote site. If you don't like that, you could use one that doesn't have that, or you can manually download it, point to it. This is the easiest way. So we're going to connect to Milvus, pass in those documents we had, pass in the embeddings that were created from them, connect to our local thing, not drop the collection, and test it. Can we do a search here? We did a search, return stuff, great. Now's the RAG part. Now that was, we connected it to Milvus. This is Langchain, as you can see here. This Langchain connects us to Ollama. If you wanted to connect to something else, we import a different library. Same thing. You're just going to change, the pip install, this import, this text here. Otherwise, same thing. That's why we like Langchain. And this is the model I'm using. Probably should put it in a constant. We may change this once the new version of Llama comes out. Right now, that's fine. We'll run that while I'm talking. I'm going to give us a prompt, pull down from the hub RAG prompt so it does all that formatting and prompting stuff for you. We get our information from the vector store we set up over here, which is Milvus. And then it's ready to go. It is got the result in the invoke. Now, sometimes I like to print out to see it extra. Sometimes I'll push it to Slack or Discord, or maybe you want to save it to a file or a database or Kafka or Pulsar. That's the place to do it. Now we're going to start a loop, and we'll just get a prompt where we could ask questions. This is our RAG. This is a final app. So if you're seeing this, it's working. Now, there isn't all the information in the world in here because you saw it's from my talks. So if you have questions on my talks, this is a good place to do that. If you have questions on something else, this might not be the place to do it. What is? How about, who is Timothy Span? In case you don't know who I am or why I'm here or what's going on. No, yeah, the context was from my talks. What is a vector embedding? Probably have that in one of the talks. Oh, I didn't have that in one of my talks. Bad thing. But here you go. We just go through here. We ask questions. What is a vector database? We'll ask some questions they definitely don't know and see what happens. Who is the President of the United States of America? Probably should spell that right. I don't know if we got to capitalize it. Okay, see, that's good. It shouldn't know that. They probably don't have that in a talk. I might have some other stuff. We could test it here if we really wanted to. What is a common embedding? We might have that in there. Yeah, we didn't have that in a talk. So, but you see here it's working. When you're done, just click the stop. This is a full RAG app. That's all you have to do. Now, if we move to the next level of Milvus, which is in Docker, I can connect to a UI that shows me what's going on with my collections of data. Something like here, I could browse the results. Once we log back in, you can see I have a bunch of different ones here. We'll look at the cat pictures. Oh no, the cat pictures are a bunch of numbers. There's some extra fields there, but that's pretty much how it looks. In more advanced ones, we'll do searches, and you could get things like images back. You could do combinations of images and text used to do a RAG. There's lots of options out there. Let's finish this up. Again, the slides have a walkthrough here. Download Python if you don't have it. 3.10, 3.11. I know 3.13's out, and it's pretty amazing. The libraries haven't caught up yet. You want to do a virtual environment. Either the one that comes with Python, or you'll want to do Conda, which is a little more advanced, but it's actually a better experience. We'll use pip. There is much more advanced ones. This is a good one to start with. Make sure you set up a .env file. Put all your environment variables in, because you're going to have API keys and constants and stuff. Put them there. We download Jupyter. I like to run it with these settings to put it on a port that I don't usually use. Allow me to run it as root. You may or may not want to do that. And I connect it to any IP so we can access it from another machine. We set up our environmental variables. We're good to go. When we connect to Python, or with the Python SDK to Milvus, we connect to that local database, connect to the Docker version, or connect to a cloud version that has a token and security. That's all you have to change in your code if you want to move this RAG to the next level. And we've got a bunch of different embedding functions you could choose. Now we choose Gina AI for dense. If we're doing some of the text ones, it makes sense maybe to do a sparse one, or you could do multiple of them. I've got an example. If you look at my Ghost app, that's using 4 different vectors, and they all have different embedding models, and you can do that. Again, we went over some of this. This is that notebook we were going through, so you could see it all here working, which is nice in case yours did not work. And you could see, oh, these were good questions. Well, the Milvus is a good one, a vector database. If you want to add metadata filtering, pretty easy here. It's really add the expression and a field equals some value, or it could be like, which you could do prefix, postfix, or infix in there with the wildcards. Makes it pretty easy to do that. There is a lot more advanced, and if you're interested in looking those right away, Copali with Colbert is a new one. You could click there. GraphRag, fun, and you could do that with Milvus and Neo4j. Multimodal, and we'll show you some of those, because sometimes you need images or other things in your chat. Agents, it is the future. It's very cool how you could connect all these things together. Metadata filtering with hybrid search or agents. This one's pretty advanced. This is a nice one. Multimodal one with OpenAI, another good one. This one has some cool chunking in it and gives you some ideas what embedding model to choose. Hide is another one. This one I made really big because I just had one on a page. And I thought this was funny. And I saw this article, and it's how many GPUs? 16,000. And now they're training on 24,000 GPU clusters. I'm glad that they're doing that, training these meta models for us, so we don't have to do that, because it would cost a lot of money and take a lot of time. And I don't even know the math on how much 48,000 GPU clusters cost. And those are good clusters there. Come to the meetup if you're in New York. If you're not in New York, we'll be streaming to YouTube, which you can watch then. If Eastern time doesn't work for you, watch it later recorded. If you're in New York on Friday, the 25th, I'm going to be speaking at the Bletchley Institute on cool stuff with RAG and AI and structured database. And I'll be in Raleigh. Definitely check us out. Open source people. Lots of cool stuff there. I'll have some specialty swag with me hidden in my whatever weird outfit I'm wearing. Then I'll be speaking at the CloudX, at Build Stuff, Extreme Python, Big Data Conference. Then we'll have another meetup towards the end of November. That is not Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is late this year. So don't go, oh, I can't go to the meetup. I want turkey. You go to the meetup, then you get turkey later. Give us a star, man. I want to hit 40,000. The 40,000 one, man, I will buy you an ice cream. Chat with me on Discord. This is where we answer questions. We got an AI bot answers questions. It's fun. Come to more meetups. AI Camp is awesome. I try to speak there as often as possible, and I make sure we're never on the same day. So you get 2 meetups a month minimum that are awesome. So come out to both. And the rest is just linked to some articles. This is my weekly newsletter. I put as much in AI, unstructured data, ML, streaming, all that stuff, some cat pictures, all of it here. Definitely check it out. You could subscribe or just go to the link, and there's the old issues there. Thank you. Sorry I didn't get there in person. I will see you next month.